to use that. We are here to find solutions, and I'm completely in the game to find these solutions. We were not perfect, that's true, but maybe we are more closer to our usual standard in the next game, and we can win the game. And then you have to get through different periods in a season. We always had to. And so this is our period now. Let's get through this together, by the way.
The Australian government has been accused of making a patently irrational decision after they revoked Novak Djokovic's visa for a second time. The player's lawyers are appealing against the ruling, and they've indicated that Djokovic will not be deported until that avenue is exhausted. It'll be heard on Sunday morning. Yes, Sunday morning, the day before the Australian Open starts. Well, Djokovic's visa was first revoked shortly after his arrival in Melbourne on January the 6th, after Australian Border Force officials said he'd failed to provide appropriate evidence to receive a vaccine exemption. Djokovic was detained, spent hours at immigration control at the airport, and then days in an immigration hotel, where he's likely to return overnight as this saga rumbles on.
I think the government is going down an unnecessarily provocative path on this issue. I would have sought to find some accommodation with Mr. Djokovic in that he would make appropriate commitments in terms of public health in Australia. And on that basis, the government would allow Mr. Djokovic to play in the Australian Open. Yes, the government would have copped some flack for a few days for doing that, but by the time the Aussie Open started, people would have forgotten all of it. Instead, we now have this saga that will just go on and on.
Well, this is how the next couple of days are expected to play out for Djokovic. At 8 a.m. local time on Saturday, that's around 9 p.m. tonight here, he'll attend Australian immigration offices and he will be detained. In the afternoon, he'll enter detention once again, just as he did when this story first blew up. Then on Sunday morning, his appeal will be heard the day before, as I say, the Australian Open begins. Incredible. Now, after a serious injury, Adam Forshaw has battled his way back into the Leeds first team. And today, it's all paid off. Contract news from Ellen Road coming next. See you in a moment.
Another big hit at the rugby. Oh, I hear you.
Register with BP Me Rewards and get £5 worth of points to spend on little treats more often.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. La, 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 la. This is how we do it. La, 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 la. Everything you'd expect from McDonald's.
First trial this evening is a sprint solo for Blue Kia.
With a patty co-created with Beyond Meat. It's our iconic taste, plant-based. That's right, Jeff. Two footballing legends are returning to the beautiful game. But what team will they play for?
Yes, Kemi, Roberto Carlos and Eni Aluko are the stars in question, with confirmation that they'll be playing Sunday League.
Unbelievable! Legends of the game signing to play Sunday League for a fiver on eBay. Oh, what a screamer! Yeah!
For the chance to have these legends play for your Sunday League team, head to eBay now.
We all have those days where we're not up for anything.
Wookies!
But when you eat Activia and your gut is happy, you are full of life. Activia, fill your gut with life to the fullest.
Mindful Chef. Food to help you feel great. Be ready for whatever life brings. With recipes so easy, you'll love making them. Choose meals you can make in 10 minutes. At Mindful Chef, you won't find any refined carbs. We always use 100% British meat. All of our chicken is free range and lots of vegan options too. Try Mindful Chef now with £20 off across your first 2 boxes. Healthy eating made easy at mindfulchef.com.
There are many reasons to train with Freeletics. To start with, you can train anytime, anywhere. Over 300 exercises and a powerful AI customizing workouts just for you, based on 1 trillion possible combinations. A trillion is a lot, but no reason beats this. And this. It works. Or it wouldn't be Europe's #1 fitness app, Freeletics. Download now.
This is where I want to put the new shopping centre, on the site of the village.
You can't do that. I'm not going to let them knock this place down.
Won't get away with this.
Dear Mr. Spears, showing your new film would save the living.
International netball returns to the UK. England's Vitality Roses will face Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. The Netball Quad Series live, only on Sky Sports.
Fear is driving the world like never before.
It's lunch at the cricket, and they've gone all out.
Morocco have qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations round of 16 with a 2-0 victory over Comoros, but that doesn't go anywhere near telling the story. Stand by for one of the great Africa Cup of Nations goalkeeping performances from Comoros' Salim Ben Boina. Now, Morocco won their first match, that was against Ghana, and they took the lead here on 16 minutes. Salim Amala eventually finding his way through. 1-0.
And finally it's it. Amala squeezes it home, and Morocco sees the lead on an evening when they know victory will see them through to the knockout stages.
Well, the Comoros keeper, Boina, faced 19 shots, numerous one-on-ones, did well here on 36 minutes to prevent a rebound after Nayef Aguerd's header. Well, Morocco continued to press for a second, and how did that not go in?
Still he keeps it out. No way. That is absolutely extraordinary.
That is brilliant goalkeeping. But then he made an error. Yeah, he conceded a penalty by bringing down Zakaria Abiklau. Boina, though, saved it. Of course he did.
Boina is the hero again. Oh, wow. For Comoros. This is incredible.
He was beaten again, though. Victory wrapped up for Morocco in the 89th minute. Abiklou's goal, originally ruled offside by VAR, but VAR had a look. Goal given, 2-0 Morocco. Now, Malawi came from behind to beat Zimbabwe 2-1 for their first 3 points of the campaign. Zimbabwe had an early chance to take the lead, but Gerald Takwara didn't get his header on target. Ishmael Wadi got his on target for Zimbabwe, but it didn't trouble Malawi's Ernest Kakobwe. It looked as though Wadi had learned from his previous header as he popped up again and stuck in the harder chance. And if you're going to celebrate a goal, do it like this. That's proper celebrations. But were they premature? Yes, because Malawi instantly hit back. Hellings Mahango with the goal. And he had a celebration of his own. Over to you, Mr. Mahango. There it is. Francisco Mandinga came close to giving Malawi the lead in the second half. Just grazed the post with that effort. But Malawi did go in front after a mix-up at the back by Zimbabwe. Mahango with his second of the game and the winner, Malawi, a point off Guinea and Senegal in third. Zimbabwe, though, their pain continues. They're still searching for their first point in the tournament. Now, Newcastle have a crucial game against Watford tomorrow, and their new signing, Chris Wood, is in contention to start after arriving from Burnley this week. Eddie Howe agrees that getting Wood through the door was essential this month.
I think every player that you sign is a necessity signing, otherwise you wouldn't sign him. I mean, you know, he's someone that we needed. I felt we needed a focal point in our attack, and we needed someone that can score goals. And for me, we need someone that could give us something slightly different to what we currently have. And I think Chris ticks all of those boxes. He's Premier League ready, and he's not going to be fazed by the moment. And I think there's a lot to be said in that. Newcastle, with current position, with the pressure on us, I can't hide from that. I think he can handle all those things. So I think that's why he was the right signing.
Could you explain maybe how you discovered there was a release clause?
With the complexities that go behind a transfer, I'm not party to that. I'm party to the beginning phase where you're identifying the player that you want, the qualities that you feel you need, and then I leave the rest to the other people above me to try and get the deals done.
How much of a bonus is it not only getting a new striker in, but taking one from a relegation rival?
For me, it was all about the right player. That was the key thing. I feel we've got that with Chris and his attributes.
Well, staying with Newcastle, they continue to push for a deal to sign the Sevilla defender Diego Carlos. This is what Howe had to say about that deal today.
We're not close to anyone else currently. The squad will be, or the squad of players that we have will be the squad of players that we have for Watford. We are looking. We've got time left in the window. We know we need to move quickly if we need to try and add more players there. Obviously, we're still active in the market.
Diego Carlos of Sevilla, there's been a couple of bids lodged by the club. What's the very latest on that? Is there any news on an accepted bid?
I would never talk about other clubs' players, whether you're factually correct or incorrect. I wouldn't do that out of respect to them and their clubs. So, no.
He's been terrific for the last couple of years since he's joined Sevilla from Nantes. He's tough. He's a leader. He's physically strong. And because of that, and because he's played with great success in France before, which, as we know, is a very physical league, and players adapt from France to the Premier League really quickly, I think there is the sense that he is a player who would fit in very nicely. In terms of will it be attractive to him, yes, it will be. And from what I gather, his representatives are quite surprised at the sort of persistence that Newcastle have put into it. And also the contract that they've offered him, which he's really into the idea of. It's a life-changing amount of money for him. It's way more than Sevilla could offer him. So he's very interested.
Adam Forshaw has agreed a one-year contract extension with Leeds, and he told us it's beyond his dreams to sign a new deal at Ellen Road. Well, he suffered a serious hip injury, which kept him out of action for the whole of last season. And there were doubts over his long-term future in the game. He's now contracted until the summer of 2023, and the club has an option to extend that by another 12 months.
When you were out injured, was this the dream scenario? Get your fitness back, get into the team, play outstandingly well, and get a new contract?
No, it wasn't the dream. This is probably beyond the dream, really. The dream was to play again at some point. I won't lie. I feared at times, but yeah, to get to this point, to prove to myself that I can do it and get a new contract's amazing, yeah.
Does it feel like a great comeback, if you like? Maybe when you thought it might be over, and here you are with the prospect of more Premier League football at Leeds United?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I just kept trying. That was all I knew. I've said in past interviews, I never gave up, but there was times when I was really worried and didn't know what to do.
Time for Blue Kia, 16, 15, 1615. Next to Sprint, solo for Emma's Pepsi.
To a day that promised so much for England's cricketers. They reduced Australia to 12 for 3 before Travis Head smashed his second century of the series to leave the fifth and final test match finally poised. Well, David Warner and Steve Smith were both dismissed by Ollie Robinson without scoring before Head and Marnus Labuschagne led the Aussie fight back. Head made 101 and he fell to the ball after he'd got to his century. Cameron Green added 74 and Australia closed on 241 for 6. England made 5 changes for this one, with Rory Burns, Ollie Pope, the debutant Sam Billings, Chris Wokes and Robinson in for Hasib Hamid, Johnny Bairstow and Joss Butler, both of whom were injured, James Anderson and Jack Leach.
Disappointed that I wasn't able to go on and get a big score. I felt like I had earned the right and then worked really hard to get to that position, and to give it up that easily, I'm pretty disappointed. And look, in terms of where my innings sits, I guess we'll wait and see. We've got to wait for England to bat hopefully put them under high pressure and it turns into a match. I guess that first innings puts us in a position to win a game of cricket for Australia and then sit back and reflect on that.
Now, England's hopes were hampered by Ollie Robinson being unable to bowl in the final 2 sessions because of a back spasm. Well, after play, England's bowling coach, John Lewis, publicly declared that Robinson isn't fit enough. This is what Lewis has said. It's something he is definitely looking at and definitely we're working on with him. If he's going to perform consistently over a long period of time at this level, he will need to be a fitter bowler, 100%. We've had those conversations. We've been pretty frank with him, and now it's up to him to go and do the work. Brutal. Now, former England captain Nasser Hussain feels that attention will soon turn to whether Joe Root and Chris Silverwood stay in their roles as captain and coach, respectively.
Future's always on the line in an Ashes series when you're 3-0, if you lose 4-0 or 3-1. I lost an Ashes series 4-1 as captain, and within 3 months of losing the Ashes series, I was out of the England captaincy. I think Fletcher went after an Ashes tour, Flower went after an Ashes tour. So historically, Ashes cricket is a stumbling block, to say the least, for captains and coaches. I don't like passing judgment on captains and coaches while there's a series on, an Ashes series on, a test match on. All this can be decided when the dust settles at the end of the series.
Staying with cricket, and Aziz.
Time for Emma's Pepsi, 1654-1654. Next, a sprint solo for Retaliate first.
The government sets up an independent regulator for the sport. Well, the report was produced after Rafiq gave testimony to the Digital Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee about racism he experienced at Yorkshire County Cricket Club, but doesn't include such a recommendation.
This report stops short of recommending an independent regulator for cricket, something the Sports Minister Nigel Huddleston threatened the ECB with in November if they didn't get their house in order. Nonetheless, Rafiq's case has exposed the potential conflict of interest when a governing body is both the promoter of a sport and also the regulator. Rafiq believes that's why it took 18 months for his complaints to be heard and MP's intervention before any action was taken. He believes an independent regulator must be brought in to protect the game because the ECB can't be trusted.
It feels like they've given the game a chance, but I actually feel like that if we're going to learn anything from the 2 years of my case, the one thing is very clear, that ECB can't be the regulators and the promoters of the game because they're conflicted. So for me, I think that's one tangible constitutional change that needs to happen as a matter of urgency, that there needs to be an independent regulator. So cases like mine or others are heard a lot sooner than 2 years.
Down the line, if we find that the ECB is not measuring up and is not dealing with these issues as it should do, we could go further and we could recommend, for instance, that there is an independent regulator set up, which would effectively split up the ECB from its current role, which is part promoter and part regulator. And that itself is a very drastic action and is one that's been looked at obviously in football. But if they have not shown that they are dealing with this racism, then I think that is action that would be justified.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
We're all in to kick it out.
Partnering to end racism in sport.
After much negotiation, all parties have agreed on the deal.
With the new Dacia Duster, you don't have to worry.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about mud.
Be Duster. Don't worry, be Duster.
Don't worry about changing gears, thanks to the new automatic. Don't worry about the price. And don't worry, this song will definitely be in your head all day.
Reach up, fingertips to the ceiling, and switch sides.
C is for caterpillar.
Tilt to the side.
D is for dog.
Like getting your money's worth? Enjoy a freshly prepared 99p mayo chicken, part of the McDonald's Saver menu.
Oh, the grief of a new gadget.
Time for Retaliate first, 16, 18, 1618. Final trial is a solo for Starlight Wonder.
That's the wrong kind of bubble cover, friend. It doesn't have to feel like this, you know.
Yeah, just text me the address.
Uh-oh.
Come on, here you go.
I got you.
Protect against damage, theft, or loss with protectyourbubble.com.
If it's worth protecting, bubble it.
Mindful Chef. Food to help you feel great. Try Mindful Chef now with £20 off across your first 2 boxes. Healthy eating made easy at mindfulchef.com.
ProCook, British design, guaranteed quality. A pan-fried Dover sole with a Meunier sauce.
I don't really like fish.
This is the Kenko aficionado. Legend says that he's created a smooth barista-style coffee by grinding each whole bean with his bare hands. So, out there they may call him the Caficionado, but we just call him Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Kenko, Caficionado since 1923.
Roll.
Maya, did you put those in the basket?
We're proud to be part of life's journey.
Watch Tottenham Hotspur.
It could be a fascinating battle. The WSL live on Sky Sports. Action. Here they come. Oh, they've scored! Fantastic finish. Never going to miss from there. They could be in here, and they have scored right on cue.
Younger than Ronaldo, I think.
Passion ignited. The Women's Super League live on Sky Sports.
Luton versus Bournemouth and Hull versus Stoke. A big weekend in the Championship kicks off tomorrow, live only on Sky Sports.
Back to the goal. Ooh, it's looking like he sliced it.
Transfer news from the Scottish Premiership now. And this week we reported that Hibs had rejected a bid for Martin Boyd.
Time for Starlight Wonder, 1691, 1691. That concludes trials.
To speak to the Pro League side.
Mindset's very good today, trained extremely well. I think the situation is quite clear. I think I've spoke to him 2 days ago. He knows the situation, he has clarity on it. And I think he came back in today in a really good mindset. Yeah, we just go on now. He has been not just one of our best players, he's been one of the outstanding players in the league. It would be very difficult if it got to the point where we had to make a decision, but I think Martin and I are quite clear. There's a certain